Howdy. You mind putting down the back window, please, for me? All right, awesome. I'm Deputy Blazer with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. Before I ask you any information, the reason I'm pulling you over is because your windows appear way too dark per statute. Okay. So if you could do me a favor, just roll this window about halfway up. That's good. Right there. So in the state of Florida, the front window can be 25%, back window can be 15%, okay? The lower the number, the darker the tint. Your front window is measuring at 3%, okay? So
I thought it went by the back window, I thought.
No, so as you can see, 3. What that means is only 3% of the outside ambient light is getting through your window. Okay, that's why they do that way. Do you have your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance? You can put this back down for me.
How's it going this morning?
What's that?
How's it going this morning, bro?
Living the dream.
I seen that.
Living the dream.
What the hell happened? I seen you on the trail looking like what the hell happened?
2513. $1038, please. Rocky Money Rudolph Jr.
Yes, sir.
That name is awesome. That's probably, in 14 years, that is probably the best name I've seen. This is the application for certificate of title.
Yeah.
This
is not like
this is the registration right here.
Okay.
It's saying it's I guess your birthday's probably on the 5th. Is it? Yeah. So ultimately it's technically expired.
Yeah.
But we don't cite for that. There's case law that says it goes to the end of the month.
Yeah.
So you need to get that changed.
Yeah, I will.
Right?
I'm doing this new project down here, that homeless community thing they doing.
Okay.
I'm building that there, working down there, building on that and stuff.
Okay.
So I be through the area all the time.
All right. Well, yeah, make sure you get that updated. And do you have the insurance card?
Cause I did it over the phone, and they pulled the faxed everything over. And they sent it to my baby mama address, and I ain't been dealing with her. I got to probably go back there and get it.
Do you have an app or anything? You should be able to get it on an app if you've got you sign into the app.
Yeah.
I just gotta check and make sure it's good.
Yeah, it's good. I just ate that stuff.
Why are you nervous?
Oh, she's caught.
Huh?
No, ain't no reason. I just got bad nerves. I ain't got no reason to be nervous. So. This one nervous.
What's that?
This one I got bad nerves. So.
Okay. There's no need to be nervous, man.
Yeah, man. Cause I was wondering, I was like, I did. I thought it was a light or something. Looking like, no, I ain't running the light.
10.
Yeah.
It's a pet peeve of mine. I was just trying to see where you were going because it's seriously unsafe to be pulling cars over there, man. So I don't ever do it.
That's what I was wondering. Like,
I try and follow somebody till they get in a safe area.
Oh, okay.
For me, you know, and then I attempt to stop.
Let's take this up. I don't get on Facebook.
Yeah, we don't need Facebook.
Infinity Auto Insurance.
Unless you want to Facebook Live us and be like, hey.
You know, I'm with my email.
Why do you start?
I think it come to my email, huh? I just paid it.
It's also going to be about time for you to get a new license.
Yeah, I know I get all that stuff straight now. I've been so busy, man.
Right? No,
I gotta take a day off.
I feel you. Y'all working today?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I just left,
Well, unfortunately, today being your day off, everything else is closed too.
Let's play this up, son.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, already. I paid it already.
Awesome. All right. Mr. Rudolph,
Yes, sir.
is there any reason why there would be a faint of weed coming out of your vehicle? Do you smoke? Do you have any friends that smoke? Anything like that?
No, sir. Just
Okay.
black and mild. Probably black and mild smoke. Just black and mild.
No, I know the difference between black and mild smoke and this and that. Do you have any marijuana in the car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's no marijuana in the car at all? Okay. And do you have a Florida health card that allows you to smoke medical marijuana?
No, sir.
No?
Okay. Just black and mild. I left on.
What's that?
Just left the Walmart up on.
Okay. Yeah, I did too. I had to go to the bathroom, something fierce.
Oh, that was you I seen back then. I just rolled through there.
You see me go in there, go to the bathroom, come back out.
Okay, I just rolled through and dropped the chick off at work in there. Yeah, okay. I seen the
All
car
right.
back then, but I was thinking that first thing in the morning.
All right. Can you do me a favor and just shut the car off for me?
What happened, sir?
Huh? Well, I smell marijuana, and you don't have a card, so I'm not. Listen,
Smoking black
listen,
and mild, sir.
listen. I'm not concerned with some personal use stuff, man. It doesn't even warrant my time.
Marijuana, black and mild. I'm smoking a black and mild. What you talking about?
Would you mind shutting the car off, please?
That's crazy, sir.
Huh?
I'm smoking a black and mild. You said
I understand. Just shut the car off for me, please. Okay? All right. 2513, somehow. Step them up, please. It's no big deal. I mean, I'm
Bro,
not.
you gonna
like I
tell me
said,
from a license to marijuana,
listen,
bro?
Listen,
Come on, man.
listen. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Stop! 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 Put it in front. Put it in park. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your freaking hands up. Let me know you're just trying to take off with me. Step them up now. Sir, I'm telling you. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. I swear to God. Put your hands up. You put it in park. Sir.
At around 9:40 this morning, Deputy Aaron Blaze with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office conducted what he thought would be a routine traffic stop on a motorist because he had dark tinted windows. He was able to conduct that traffic stop on the on-ramp, the westbound on-ramp onto I-4 on the side of the road, and the motorist just pulled over in his black Cadillac Escalade. And again, that motorist was Rocky Rudolph. The deputy had casual conversation about the stop, came out and explained the law regarding dark tinted windows, actually put a meter on the window to show the motorist exactly what the requirement was and what the tint on the vehicle was. And they had some routine conversation about driver's license, registration, a proof of insurance, and everything seemed to be going just fine. A part of the traffic stop, the deputy smelled an apparent odor of marijuana from the car and asked the motorist if he had a permit for medical marijuana, which he said that he did not. At that time, he asked the motorist to turn off the car and asked for a deputy to come back and support him and back him up. And at first, Rudolph refused to turn the car off, started to become more aggressive in his conversation, and the deputy then pleaded, just please turn your car off. It's not that big of a deal. We just need to check this situation out. He then became combative, and at one time yelling and screaming, and actually put the car in drive, and as the deputy was attached to the window, pulled the deputy at least 20 feet down the shoulder of the road. The deputy was still there, engaged with the suspect, at that time pulled his firearm out, and then ordered Rudolph to raise his hands, turn the car off, no longer drive forward, as he was radioing to other deputies to send backup because he tried to get drugged down the street. Rudolph goes back and forth with Deputy Blaze, and then ultimately the seatbelt moves forward, and Rudolph reaches towards the gun hand of Deputy Blaze and actually holds him there and drives him at least 100 yards down the road heading towards I-4 before Deputy Blaze falls off the car, rolls into the median, and is witnessed by eyewitnesses all around. Rudolph then takes his car just a little bit further from almost killing our deputy, loses control of it, and then jumps the fence, runs into the commercial and residential area, which has been the focus of our manhunt for the past 8 hours, consisting of every single city agency within Seminole County, and then our surrounding partners with FDLE, and et cetera. So what we know is the deputy fired at least some shots into the car. We knew who the individual was because we had the driver's license, we had information from the tag. We were conducting surveillance, we were trying to find him. We found out that his family lives in Apopka, and there was a suspicious vehicle driving around that area. We got the information of that suspicious vehicle, but nobody attempted to stop the car at that time. We later found that there was an off-duty law enforcement officer from Belle Isle that was in the area trying to help out, that saw a person matching the description run from the wood line up into some bushes in a residential area and get into that vehicle that matched the suspicious vehicle down in Apopka. Ultimately, our SWAT team and investigators were able to corner that vehicle in that was being driven by, we believe, his 20-year-old daughter, and take him into custody. When we took him into custody, he has one gunshot wound in the leg, and now he's taken to the hospital for treatment. This was a very, very dangerous situation. Let me tell you a little bit about Rudolph here. And this is what our problem. We have a small percentage of the offender population that is responsible for a large percent of the chaos that occurs in our community. Rocky Rudolph was charged with 32 felonies, 22 misdemeanors, 15 felony convictions, 8 misdemeanor convictions. There's a 9mm inside of his car. There's a 9mm that at least 3 eyewitnesses saw him throw in the bushes as he was running from us. One of the crimes that he was acquitted for was murder with a firearm. I mean, this is a bad dude who almost killed one of our deputy sheriffs on the side of the road. That as we're enjoying our coffee Saturday morning, he leaves his wife and his children to come out here and do this job. And I thank God for his professionalism and people just like him that put their lives on the line and walk that thin blue line every single day to protect our domestic and international freedoms. It's because of heroes like that that we can tuck our children in bed at night and feel comfortable in our communities. This guy needs to go to jail for a very long time. He's now being charged with first-degree premeditated murder, aggravated assault, and some other charges as this investigation continues. Again, we wanted to get as much information out to you and the public, and really thank our public, because a lot of people called in reports, and a lot of our citizens that live and worked in the area listen to our calls for help and assistance, and we want to thank them very much for that as well. With that, I'll open the floor to any questions that anybody may have.
How's the deputy doing?
The deputy is doing remarkably well. He is a trooper. He was not shot. He was drugged by the vehicle twice, and ultimately you'll see this, and I can't emphasize this enough. Sometimes we've had deputies and law enforcement officers across this country drugged by vehicles, but Rudolph was taking him to Interstate 4. And what you'll see in the video is he's thrown from this video into the median just feet before merging onto Interstate 4. If he would have been thrown on the interstate, you can only imagine what would have happened. His body camera flew off of his body. His body camera was ultimately run over by another motorist and then apprehended. And it is a very, very dangerous situation. He was seen at the hospital. They ran some tests, but considering what he's been through, he is in a good condition right now.
How fast do you think he was going as he was driving?
I tell you, the Rudolph was accelerating and trying to get away, so, you know, it's hard to predict, but maybe 40 or 50 miles per hour. You'll see when he's thrown from the vehicle that there's just a dust that flies up in the air as his body's being twisted and turned as he enters into the ditch. And I am absolutely convinced that Rudolph was reaching for his gun at the time, and I think that the video will clearly show that.
Sheriff, you said that there was two scenes, one where the traffic stop happened and then one when Rudolph was apprehended. Where did those two take place?
Yeah, so we've had multiple scenes here. So the first scene that we had is the scene where the attempted traffic stop occurred. That's on the on-ramp. And then we had another scene where he lost control and his vehicle, Rudolph's vehicle, spun out, probably a couple hundred yards further up, where he jumped the fence. And then the third scene is a community where it's in Longwood, that we were actually able to take down that vehicle. That exact location I don't know of right now, but it's somewhere in the Longwood area.
Was that deputy taken to the hospital?
Yes. Our deputy was...
Is he still there?
He is not. He's been released from the hospital. You got to remember, this occurred just before 10 o'clock this morning, so he was immediately taken to the hospital, and they ran tests and CAT scans, and he's on a heavy dose of pain medicine right now for his injuries, and we will reevaluate him and check with him tomorrow. So he is with his family now, where it's exactly where we want him to be.
Sheriff, what's the lesson to be taken away from all this?
The lesson is very, very clear. You know, our law enforcement officers are out there. They're encouraging people to be compliant, while at the same time enforcing the laws that we as a society have created. And when a law enforcement officer comes in contact with you and they say, show me your hands, please put your hands on the wheel, please turn off the car, comply with those orders. This guy, in all accounts, shouldn't even be alive right now. And I don't know how many rounds were fired into the car, but it was probably not enough. The fact of the matter is follow the rules and things work out fine. I think that you'll see how patient this deputy is when you look at the entire interview, having conversation, trying to be nonchalant, and then next thing you know, we have a career criminal that's been charged with 32 felonies in his less than 40 years on earth, and gone to prison, follow the rules. And you know what? When you know bad guys that are in the community, that small percentage of people that are committing a large part of the crime, tell on them, report them, do whatever you can do.
Which on-ramp was that initial stop?
So it was the on-ramp right here. So as you're merging from Hugh H. Thomas Boulevard onto I-4, it kind of swerves around. That's where the initial stop occurred, right there.
So just to clarify, an off-duty Belle Isle officer saw the car in a Longwood community?
So he happens to live in the Longwood community, As a law enforcement officer, and at one time he was a law enforcement officer here in Seminole County, he was aware of what was going on. He's obviously vigilant within his community and wants to take action when he can, sees what he knows to be suspicious circumstances, had some conversations with the law enforcement officers that are here on scene, reported that information that brought us to the location and gave us the ability to apprehend the individual. I think it's one of the important messages here is some people think that law enforcement officers are working an 8 to 5 job or whenever their hours are on. But this is a lifestyle. This isn't a job. You quite literally are never off when you're in this business. Whether you're shopping with your family or you're at your own home, you're constantly looking for things that are disrupting normal society. Think about the expense of this thing right now, okay? We quite literally have had an 8-hour manhunt with I don't even know what the number of law enforcement officers are, but every single agency that's here, helicopters and SWAT teams and tactical vehicles, just put your hands up. Just turn the car off. The rules are the rules and the laws are the law. Follow them.
Where were you guys searching in relation to where he was found?
Everywhere.
Searching in that area?
We were searching everywhere. We knew that he was potentially bedded down somewhere because he left his vehicle there. So we suspected that he may be hiding in the woods. Our worst fear was he was going to get into some business or some other people's homes, and we know that he's dangerous already. We see what he's willing to do to a law enforcement officer, let alone if he ever came in contact with somebody in free society that ever told him something that he didn't agree with. I mean, this is how he treats deputies. I can't even imagine if a manager of a local restaurant came up to him and said something that he didn't like. So we searched everywhere. And that's kind of what, I mean, we're really, really good at that. We knew that we weren't going to bed until this guy was taken into custody. And Deputy Aaron Blaze is a hero for what he does. This was his 4th traffic stop today. He's out there being proactive so we can sleep comfortably throughout the night. He should never have to go through this nonsense.
Yeah, the suspicious car was a tan Toyota. Do you know that?
Do we know what the suspicious car was that he was apprehended in? What type of car it was? I don't know. White car.
Okay, thank you.
Any?
So, I know you said that he got a little agitated at the deputy's hands, but was there any motive you think he was stalking after his arrest?
No, he knew that he knew with his rap sheet that he had probably a 9mm handgun on his person. He knew that there was another 9mm handgun hidden in the car, and we're just now executing our search warrant on the car, and we knew that there was drugs fresh inside the car. So this started as a simple window tinting, and the deputy immediately smelled drugs inside the car, started to have a conversation about it, and at that time the deputy don't know if he's got single dose usage of marijuana or he's got kilos of cocaine in the back of the car. And he's doing what he's obligated to do to investigate this situation. The only problem is he's got a bad guy that's not willing to let him investigate it and is willing to do everything, even kill a deputy sheriff in an effort to get away. I tell you what, he's going to be locked up tonight, and he needs to be in there for a very long time. Thank you so much.